Leaders from African nations arrived in Russia's St. Petersburg city on Wednesday. They will be attending the second Russia-Africa Forum. The African leaders will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin. A possible return of Russia to the Black Sea grain deal will also likely be discussed. The leaders will also discuss the situation of Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, President Putin met Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in St. Petersburg on Wednesday. The two leaders met on the sidelines of the Russia-Africa Forum. They vowed to improve cooperation on regional and international issues. The two countries are celebrating the 80th anniversary of their diplomatic relations. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un met Russia's Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu on Wednesday. During their meeting, Shoigu handed Kim Jong-un a letter from Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two leaders also hailed the relations between North Korea and Russia. Shoigu is leading a Russian delegation to North Korea. They have been invited to attend the Korean War's 70th anniversary in North Korea's capital Pyongyang. Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum was removed from power on Wednesday. His presidential palace was stormed by soldiers from the Niger army in a coup. After taking control, Niger's army has closed its international borders. Meanwhile, protests have erupted in the West African nation. Demonstrators are demanding the release of President Bazoum. Australia signed a major defense deal with South Korea. Canberra will purchase 129 infantry fighting vehicles from Seoul. The deal is worth over $4 billion. This is one of the largest projects in the history of the Australian Army. The vehicles will be assembled in Australia. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met New Zealand's Prime Minister Chris Hipkins earlier today. The two leaders discussed increasing cooperation in the Pacific. This comes as the US invited New Zealand to be a part of the AUKUS alliance. AUKUS is a trilateral security pact between US, Australia and the UK. Blinken is on a tour of Pacific nations. He will next visit Australia. In the US, two former Navy pilots and a former intelligence officer testified about unidentified flying objects or UFOs on Wednesday. The three officials said they had witnessed unusual activity that they did not know how to explain. They urged the US government to be more transparent about UFOs and alien sightings. Last week, the White House said that some US military pilots had allegedly seen UFOs during training missions. The top portion of a construction crane collapsed in New York City on Wednesday. At least 6 people were injured as the broken crane hit a high-rise building before falling onto the streets during rush hour. New York officials have cordoned off the area for public use. The cause of the crane collapse is still being investigated. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reshuffled much of his cabinet on Wednesday. Trudeau retained his finance and foreign ministry portfolio. He reassigned the roles for Canada's defence and public safety ministers. The reshuffle comes after Trudeau's national popularity dropped from 38 to 28%. A riot broke out in a prison in Brazil's western town of Branco today. At least 3 people were injured. The riot began after some inmates took 2 police officers as hostage. This is according to government officials. Brazil's armed forces have been deployed in heavy numbers to curb further violence. Protesters clashed with police in the Latin American nation of Peru on Wednesday. Peru's police officials fired tear gas to disperse the crowd. The protests erupted outside the building of the Congress over the selection of a new board. Demonstrators alleged that Peru's Communist Party formed an alliance with a right-wing party after years of rivalry. Protesters say the ministers formed the alliance just to gain access to power. Teachers in the South American nation of Chile held a 24-hour nationwide strike on Wednesday. They demanded better working conditions and safer classrooms. They urged the government to pay the debt owed to teachers since the year 1981. Chilean teachers are expected to hold another 48-hour-long strike in August. Moving to climate, the streets of Greek capital Athens have become empty as scorching heatwave continues to grip the country. The daily highest temperature in Athens soared to 43 degrees Celsius. It has forced residents to cut back on outdoor activities. The weather forecast of the Greek Meteorological Service shows that temperature in some parts of the region can even reach 45 degrees Celsius. Summer heat waves have swept the European region. It has sparked wildfires and smashed temperature records. In 2020, Barcelona's local council set up a network of facilities to act as a so-called climate shelters. This included libraries, museums, schools, sports centers and parks. It offers local and easily accessible escape from sizzling temperatures. Temperatures soared to 43 degrees Celsius in part of Turkey's largest city, Istanbul. It marked one of the hottest days of the season. The city's residents have been sweltering this summer. Meanwhile, a fire broke out in a forest in the region. Water-dropping planes, helicopters and firefighters were deployed to fight the fire. Clouds of smoke from wildfires billowed in the countryside of Syria's Mediterranean port city of Latakia. Large areas of the area sweltered under an intense summer heat wave. Firefighters battled to put out blazes across the region. A new footage shows the extent of devastation caused by a wildfire in Sicily. It has turned the hill surrounding the 5th century BC temple of Segesta into ash. The Sicilian archaeological site was temporarily closed to carry out checks for potential damage. The wildfires in Italy's southern island of Sicily have killed 3 elderly people so far. Hundreds of Albanian fighters battled blazes that have raged the country's southern region. Meanwhile, a firefighter helicopter was dropping water over a forest on fire. The firefighters were supported by 102 members of the Albanian armed forces. 11 military vehicles were also deployed in the area. Hundreds of vehicles were submerged in a commercial neighborhood in Noida city in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. This is after the Hindon River overflowed. People living near its banks had to move to higher ground. Meanwhile, some of the nearby schools in Noida were shut down. A young sea lion was released back to the sea on an Argentine beach after recovering from a neck injury. The injury was caused by a plastic wrapper. Earlier this month, the animal was rescued from the Punta Medanos beach. The sea lion was also anemic and underweight when it was found. On to business and tech now. The US Federal Reserve has raised its interest rates by 25 basis points. This is in line with analysts' estimates. The benchmark rates are now set within the range of 5.25% to 5.50%. This is its highest level in over 2 decades. This is the central bank's 11th hike in its last 12 meetings. Last month, the Fed held its rates to assess the result of its previous rate hikes. Meanwhile, the US Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has said that the central bank staff no longer expects a US recession. In November last year, the Fed for the first time introduced the notion that a recession was likely. Earlier this year, amidst the banking crisis, the central bank outrightly forecast a mild recession. However, it has now shifted from its previous stance. According to reports, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia may cut about 200 jobs. Some of those employees could also be redeployed into some other roles. Last month, CBA's peer Westpac had laid off 300 employees in its consumer and business banking segments. A subsidiary of Taiwanese firm Foxconn is in talks with the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. This is to build a new plant for electronic components in the state. Foxconn Industrial Internet has reportedly shared a plan to invest about $200 million in the facility. Last week, the CEO of FII and other representatives met Tamil Nadu officials to discuss the investment. Payments company MasterCard has moved to ban transactions related to marijuana made through its debit cards in the US. The company has asked financial institutions to stop allowing such payments. Using marijuana is illegal at the federal level in the country. However, several states have legalized it for medicinal and recreational usage. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance has withdrawn its application for a crypto license in Germany. Earlier, German regulators had reportedly told the company they would not grant it a crypto custody license. The company and its CEO, Changpeng Zhao, have been under pressure since last month. This is ever since US regulators sued Binance for operating a quote-unquote web of deception. Canada's financial regulator has proposed changes to its capital and liquidity approach to crypto assets. It has proposed two draft guidelines. One is for federally regulated institutions like banks and credit unions, and the other is for crypto insurers. The proposed rules will simplify institutions' approach to perceived crypto risks. It is expected to come into effect in early 2025. A US congressional committee advanced a bill on Wednesday. The bill aims to develop a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies. If successful, the new bill will be a milestone for the Capitol Hill in its efforts to codify federal oversight for the crypto industry. The crypto industry has been in the regulatory crosshairs since the collapse of major firms like FTX last year. A US judge has said he will consider jailing Sam Bankman-Fried ahead of his trial. His bail conditions have also been tightened. The judge has restricted Bankman-Fried's ability to communicate publicly. He has been accused of crossing a line by sharing his former romantic partner Caroline Ellison's personal writings with a reporter. Prosecutors say this is his second instance of witness tampering. Sam Bankman-Fried was the founder of the fallen crypto firm FTX. Reports say Microsoft will provide artificial intelligence technology to the Japanese government. Japan's digital agency will use the technology developed by Microsoft-backed startup OpenAI. It will be made available on a trial basis from the autumn. It will be tested for tasks such as preparing minutes of meetings and analyzing government statistics. Moving to sports, according to reports, Indian cricketers wrote to the Board of Control for Cricket in India, or the BCCI. This was after their flight got delayed for several hours ahead of the first one-day match against West Indies. The players were supposed to travel at night on the last day of the Test series against the West Indies. They landed in Barbados for the ODI match early in the morning without ample sleep. The Indian team members requested the BCCI to not book midnight flights as they need adequate time to rest in between matches. England Test cricket captain Ben Stokes will use a 6-month break to resolve his knee problem. This means Stokes may not play until England's first Test match in India in January. The 32-year-old bowled only 38 overs in Ashes Test cricket this year due to his knee injury. In football, the reigning champions US were held to a 1-1 draw by Netherlands in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Lindsey Horan, co-captain of the US team, scored the goal during the second half of the match to level the scoreboard. The Dutch midfielder Jill Roord gave the Netherlands an edge with her goal in the 17th minute. This is the first time the Americans were held in a World Cup draw since 2015. Spanish football club Real Madrid won 2-0 against Manchester United in a pre-season friendly in Houston on Wednesday. Jude Bellingham, who joined Madrid in June, scored his first goal within just 6 minutes. Joselu scored the goal in the final minute for Madrid to seal the victory for the club. French striker Kylian Mbappe refused to meet with Al Hilal officials for talks in Paris. The Saudi club have offered a record-breaking fee to the PSG striker for his transfer to Saudi Arabia. According to French sports newspaper, Mbappe has never considered the move as an option. Jordan Henderson, the captain of English Premier League club Liverpool, has confirmed that he is leaving the club. The 33-year-old midfielder has captained the club for 12 years. Henderson posted a goodbye message on his social media for his fans. The former Liverpool captain is now all set to be confirmed by the Saudi club Al Ittefaq. French striker Moussa Dembélé has joined Al Ittefaq as a free agent in the Saudi Pro League club. This comes after Dembele's contract recently expired. The financial details of the deal with Al Ittefaq has not yet been revealed. In badminton, Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen secured a spot in the quarter-final in the Japan Open 2023. He defeated Japan's Kanta Suyama 21-14, 21-16 in the men's singles category. He will now face another Japanese opponent on Friday. Indian badminton players Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy entered the quarter-final in the Japan Open. The duo defeated their Dutch opponents in the men's doubles category. They will now play against their Taiwanese rivals on Friday. In Formula 1, all 10 current Formula 1 teams will have one chosen driver and have their livery on a car racing in the all-female F1 Academy series from 2024. Susie Wolff, F1 Academy's managing director, called it a landmark moment for the female racers. Only the US Grand Prix is hosting an F1 Academy race this year in October. The F1 Academy is an all-female single-seater racing championship founded by Formula 1 and currently has 5 teams. In entertainment, American actor Kevin Spacey has been found not guilty on all the sexual offensive charges. The actor was facing 9 charges of sexual misconduct. The incidents allegedly took place between the year 2004 and 2013. The survivors of sexual misconduct called Spacey a sexual bully and a predator. Elon Musk has mocked Greta Gerwig's film Barbie. He said, "If you take a shot every time Barbie says the word patriarchy, you will pass out before the movie ends." The Barbie movie has made an attempt to talk about women's struggles in a patriarchal world. The movie also questions men's place in the society and focuses on internalized misogyny with a comic twist. The movie has made more than $400 million on the international box office. The father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer's grandson, has spoken about a part of the Oppenheimer movie that he thought was inaccurate. Charles Oppenheimer pointed out that the part he liked the least was the poison apple reference. He said, and I quote, "There is no record of him trying to kill somebody. That's a really serious accusation. There is not a single enemy or friend of Robert Oppenheimer who considered it true." As Hollywood writers and actors continue to strike to demand higher pay, Netflix has posted a new job profile. The streaming platform is looking for a machine learning project manager and is willing to offer a compensation between $300,000 and $900,000 a year. According to the Screen Actors Guild, 87% of the union actors make less than $26,000 in a year. The use of artificial intelligence in the production of movies and series has been a major bone of contention for striking actors and writers. Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Movies are working on a sequel of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Militant Mayhem. A 2-season series has been planned which will be a bridge between the films. Movie makers say that Ninja Turtles Leo, Raph, Donnie and Mikey will be challenged like never before. Japanese singer Shinjiro Ate has announced that he is gay. The J-pop singer came out as a homosexual person while giving an emotional speech at a fan event in Tokyo. The singer said, and I quote, "I respect you and believe you deserve to hear this directly from me. For years I have struggled to accept a part of myself, but now I finally have the courage to open up. In Japan, same-sex marriages are illegal." Singer Beyoncé's mother Tina Knowles and her husband Richard Lawson have separated after 8 years of marriage. Knowles filed for divorce citing irreconcilable differences as the reason for separation. She has also asked the court to restore her name to Celestine Knowles. Tina Knowles and Richard Lawson got married in 2015 after dating for 2 years. American actor Ethan Slater has filed for divorce from his wife Lily J after 4 years of marriage. This comes amid rumors that the actor is romantically involved with singer Ariana Grande. This also happened just days after Grande parted ways from her husband Dalton Gomez. Slater and Grande are co-stars from their upcoming movie Wicked. Irish singer and songwriter Sinead O'Connor has died at the age of 56. The singer became famous in her mid-20s. She is known for being vocal about her private struggles and her fierce and expressive music. A few years ago, O'Connor revealed that she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The singer's teenage son died by suicide last year. After this, O'Connor tweeted, "No point living without him." And finally, Oscar-winning Hollywood screenwriter Bo Goldman has died at the age of 90. Goldman won Oscars for his scripts in the movies One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Melvin and Howard. During his long career, Goldman also won New York Film Critics Award, 2 Writers Guild Awards and 3 Golden Globes.